When you picture the North American wilderness, vast and untamed, stretching from the icy peaks of Alaska to the rolling forests of the Rocky Mountains, one animal stands out as a true icon of these wild lands: the grizzly bear. This powerful brown bear, known scientifically as Ursus arctos horribilis, is instantly recognizable by its distinctive grizzled fur, coarse brown hairs tipped with silver or white, shimmering in the sunlight as it moves through its domain. The grizzly's muscular shoulder hump and long, straight claws are perfectly adapted for digging roots, turning over rocks, and surviving in some of the harshest environments on the continent. These features are not just for show, they are tools for survival, honed by evolution over thousands of years. Adult males can weigh well over 600 pounds, with some even reaching 1,000 pounds, and when they stand upright, they tower above most humans, a true testament to their strength and presence. Grizzlies are mostly solitary creatures, roaming vast territories alone, except for the devoted mothers who fiercely protect and nurture their playful cubs, teaching them the skills they'll need to survive. But there are moments when these solitary giants come together, most famously at salmon runs, where dozens gather along rushing rivers to feast and build up fat reserves for the long winter ahead. Watching a grizzly in the wild, whether it's lumbering through the forest or roaring in the open, is a breathtaking reminder of nature's raw power and untamed beauty. These bears are not just impressive to look at, they play a vital role in their ecosystems, shaping the landscape as they forage, hunt, and disperse seeds, helping to maintain the delicate balance of the wild. The story of the grizzly bear is one of dramatic decline, as their numbers once plummeted due to hunting and habitat loss, but also of inspiring recovery, as dedicated conservation efforts have helped some populations rebound, a journey that is still unfolding today. To truly understand grizzlies is to understand the ongoing challenges of conservation and coexistence, as scientists, park rangers, and local communities work tirelessly to ensure their survival. The grizzly's saga is a compelling chapter in North America's natural heritage, a story that connects us to the wild places that still exist on our continent. Today, the future of the grizzly bear depends on finding a delicate balance between wildness and human presence, as our worlds increasingly overlap at the edges of forests and towns. Join us as we explore the world of the grizzly bear, its past, its present, and the hope for its future in the wild heart of North America. Once, grizzlies roamed from Alaska's Arctic shores to the deserts of Mexico, thriving on plains, mountains, and rivers. Up to 50,000 grizzlies lived in the lower 48 states before European settlement. Expansion westward brought conflict. Bears were hunted, trapped, and poisoned as threats to livestock and safety. By the 1930s, grizzlies had vanished from 98% of their U.S. range, surviving only in remote mountain pockets. States like California and Texas lost their grizzlies entirely. The survivors were isolated in places like Yellowstone and Glacier, cut off from other populations. This fragmentation limited genetic diversity and increased vulnerability. The grizzly's shrinking range is a stark lesson in the impact of human expansion. Despite their fearsome reputation, grizzlies are classic omnivores. Up to 90% of their diet is plant-based. In spring, they eat green shoots and dig up roots. Summer brings berries and calorie-rich pine nuts. Grizzlies also hunt and scavenge, eating everything from insects to newborn elk and moose calves. They're opportunists, feasting on whatever's available, including carrion. The highlight of their year is the salmon run, where they gorge on fish to build fat for hibernation. Their diverse diet allows them to thrive in varied habitats and seasons. This adaptability is key to their survival. Grizzlies' foraging habits even help shape their environment. Their role as omnivores makes them essential to the ecosystem. The grizzly's palate is as wild and varied as the landscapes it roams. The life of a grizzly bear is deeply connected to the changing seasons, with each part of the year bringing new challenges and opportunities. Hibernation stands out as one of their most remarkable survival strategies, allowing them to endure the harsh, food-scarce winter months. As autumn approaches, grizzlies enter a phase called hyperphagia, where they eat almost non-stop, devouring berries, fish, and anything they can find. This intense feeding helps them build up fat reserves. When winter arrives, they retreat to carefully chosen insulated dens, where their heart rate and metabolism slow dramatically, conserving precious energy until spring. During this hibernation, something incredible happens. Mother grizzlies give birth. Cubs are born tiny, blind, and completely helpless, weighing less than a pound. They rely entirely on their mother's warmth and milk, growing stronger in the safety and darkness of the den. When spring finally arrives and the snow melts, mothers emerge from their dens with their young cubs. Over the next 2 to 3 years, these devoted mothers teach their cubs everything they need to know: how to find food, avoid danger, and navigate the wild. Despite their massive size, grizzlies are surprisingly agile. They can sprint at speeds up to 35 miles per hour, faster than most humans can run, and are also powerful swimmers, able to cross rivers and lakes with ease. Their combination of strength, speed, and endurance makes them one of the most formidable animals in the wild. Whether hunting, defending territory, or searching for food, grizzlies are built for survival. Perhaps nothing is more impressive than a mother grizzly's fierce protection of her cubs. She will bravely face down threats many times her size, making her reputation legendary, and giving people a very good reason to keep their distance. Cubs must learn quickly, practicing climbing, foraging, and even play fighting, all under their mother's watchful eye. These early lessons are crucial for their survival once they eventually venture out on their own. The life of a grizzly bear is a remarkable blend of raw strength, surprising agility, and devoted parenting, a true testament to survival in the wild. Grizzlies need vast, unbroken territory. Home ranges can span 50 to 600 square miles. Ideal habitat is a mosaic river valleys, meadows, alpine slopes, and forests, each offering seasonal foods. Denning sites require steep, timbered hillsides with deep snow for insulation. Historically, grizzlies roamed plains and lowlands, but now survive mainly in protected mountain ecosystems. Today, their U.S. range is limited to a few recovery zones around Yellowstone Glacier and isolated areas in Idaho, Montana, and Washington. Even these wildlands face threats from roads, development, and habitat fragmentation. Isolation reduces genetic diversity and increases risk. For grizzlies to thrive, they need not just parks, but safe corridors connecting wild places. Protecting habitat is the foundation of grizzly conservation. Their future depends on keeping the wild connected. Human conflict has always been the grizzly's greatest threat. Settlers saw them as dangerous, leading to widespread killing. Habitat loss from agriculture, logging, and development further squeezed bear populations into shrinking spaces. Today, more people in bear country means more encounters. Improper food storage can turn bears into problem animals, often with fatal results. Climate change now adds new challenges, threatening key food sources like whitebark pine nuts. Disease and beetle infestations worsened by warming are decimating these vital trees. The loss of high-fat foods impacts bears' ability to hibernate and reproduce. Grizzlies face a complex web of old and new threats. Coexistence requires vigilance, adaptation, and respect for wildness. The grizzly's survival depends on how we respond to these challenges. By the mid-20th century, grizzly bears in the lower 48 states were teetering on the brink of extinction. Decades of hunting, habitat loss, and conflict with humans had taken a devastating toll. Once roaming vast stretches of North America, their numbers had plummeted to a mere 600 to 800 individuals scattered across isolated pockets. The grizzly, a symbol of wilderness and strength, was now a rare sight, and many feared it would vanish forever from the American landscape. In 1975, recognizing the urgent need for action, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service officially listed the grizzly bear as a threatened species under the newly enacted Endangered Species Act. This powerful legislation was designed to protect animals and plants at risk of extinction, and the grizzly became one of its most iconic beneficiaries. This landmark move made it illegal to harm, harass, or kill grizzlies, and it mandated active recovery efforts. For the first time, there was a legal framework requiring the government to take real steps to save the species, not just prevent its disappearance. 6 grizzly bear recovery zones were established, focusing on core habitats like Yellowstone and the Northern Continental Divide. These zones became sanctuaries where grizzlies could recover, breed, and roam more safely. The recovery plan aimed not only to halt the decline, but to stabilize and grow grizzly populations. The goal was to ensure that future generations could witness these magnificent animals thriving in the wild, not just surviving. Reducing human-bear conflict became a top priority. Public education campaigns taught people how to coexist with grizzlies, while practical measures like electric fencing and bear-proof garbage containers helped keep both bears and people safe. These efforts were crucial in preventing deadly encounters and building support for grizzly recovery. Recovery meant managing the delicate balance between wildlife and human communities. Towns near bear habitats learned to adapt. Hikers carried bear spray, and new wildlife corridors allowed grizzlies to move safely across the landscape. The Endangered Species Act's protections gave grizzlies a fighting chance, allowing populations to slowly rebound and reclaim their place in the ecosystem. Conservation became a collaborative effort, uniting federal and state agencies, scientists, conservationists, and local residents. Together, they worked to restore habitats, monitor bear populations, and ensure a future for the grizzly. The groundwork was laid for one of America's greatest wildlife comebacks. Over time, the grizzly story became a testament to what's possible when people come together to protect nature. Thanks to the Endangered Species Act, the grizzly's fate was no longer left to chance. Instead, it became a story of hope, resilience, and the power of collective action. Decades of protection and management reversed the grizzly's decline. In Yellowstone, the population grew from just 136 in 1975 to over 1,000 today. Across the lower 48, more than 2,000 grizzlies now roam recovery zones. This five-fold increase is a triumph of science-based conservation. As numbers grew, bears began reclaiming old territory, sometimes clashing with people in new areas. Grizzlies' return benefits entire ecosystems. Digging for food aerates soil, and salmon remains fertilized forests. Their comeback is a victory for wilderness itself. The grizzly's recovery shows what's possible when we commit to coexistence. The grizzly's comeback has sparked debate. Should Endangered Species Act protections be lifted? Some argue population goals are met and states should manage bears, possibly allowing regulated hunting. Conservationists and tribal nations warn that delisting is risky. Populations remain isolated and vulnerable to disease and climate change. Legal battles have blocked delisting attempts, citing threats like genetic isolation and food loss. The debate highlights deep divisions over what recovery really means. The grizzly's future is caught between competing values and interests. Ensuring long-term survival means balancing human needs with wildness. Conservation is an ongoing commitment, not a finished story. The grizzly's saga continues, a symbol of both challenge and hope.